Stephen Hawking wanted scientists to make black holes on Earth. Physics says it's possible. Well, it sounds ridiculous to me, but well, just continue reading. When Stephen Hawking and I visited the Large Hadron Collider, he hoped for an unexpected physics breakthrough. I hope you make black holes, Stephen said with a broad smile. We exited the cargo lift that had taken us underground into the 5-story cavern housing the Atlas experiment at the CERN lab. Maybe CERN, I think, the legendary European Organization for Nuclear Research near Geneva. CERN's Director General, Rolf Hauver, shoved his feet uneasily. This was 2009, and someone had filed a lawsuit in the United States concerning CERN's newly constructed Large Hadron Collider, the HLC, who produced black holes or another form of exotic matter that could destroy Earth. The LHC is a ring-shaped particle accelerator that was built principally to create Higgs bosons, the missing link at the time in a standard model of particle physics. Oh wait, I actually really shocked to find that as soon as you complete taking a bath and you go to the air conditioner room, it will actually cause a lot of disease. But let's just check whether or not I am true. So as a question, that is it true that you shouldn't enter the air conditioner room after taking a shower? What is this? Oh, it doesn't actually work, but I've just encountered some articles reporting about this. I'm not sure, but yeah. Let's just continue reading. The LHC is a ring-shaped particle accelerator that was built principally to create Higgs bosons, the missing link at the time in a standard model of particle physics. Constructed in a tunnel underneath the Swiss-French border, its total circumference is 27 kilometers, almost 17 miles, and it accelerates protons and antiprotons, running in counter-rotating beams in its circular vacuum tubes to 99.9999991% of the speed of light. At 3 locations along the ring, the beams of accelerated particles can be directed into highly energetic collisions, recreating conditions comparable to those running in the universe as a small fraction of a second after the hot Big Bang, while the temperature was more than a million degrees. That's definitely extremely scorching, right? The tracks of the spray of particles created in these violent head-on collisions are picked up by millions of sensors stacked like mini Lego blocks to make up the giant detectors, including the Atlas detector and the Compact Moon Solenoid, or CMS. This news is kind of boring. I think it's actually interesting, but it doesn't really exciting as I thought, so just continue fighting another one. Here, about super volcano. Europe's most dangerous supervolcano could be creeping toward eruption, scientists warn. Italy's Camping Flegrei is showing more troubling early warning signs, but scientists caution that its eruption is far from certain. A long-slumbering supervolcano in Italy is getting closer to potential eruption for the first time since 1538, a new study warns, and the consequences could be catastrophic. The Campi Flegrei volcano near Naples in southern Italy has crust that is becoming weaker and more prone to rupturing, making an eruption more likely, scientists behind a new study have said. More than 1.5 million people live above the vast underground volcano complex, and 500,000 people have their homes inside its 7-mile-long, 11-kilometers caldera, which was formed after an enormous eruption 39,000 years ago. If Campi Frege was to reenact its largest previous eruption, it could punch molten rock and volcanic gases high into the atmosphere, unleash 100 feet high tsunamis, and spread a plume of sulfur and toxic ash that could plunge Earth into global winter for years, killing crops and causing mass extinctions. The researchers published the findings June 9th in the journal Communications, Earth and Environment. Our new study confirms that Campi Flegrei is moving closer to rupture, study lead author Christopher Kilburn, a professor of earth science at University College London, said in a statement. However, he cautioned that this does not mean an eruption is guaranteed. The rupture may open a crack through the crust, but the magma still needs to be pushing up at the right location for the eruption to occur. Campi Flegrei, which means burning fields or fiery fields, is a sprawling, mostly hidden network of 24 craters and edifices that stretches from a vast caldera opposite Vesuvius at the western edge of Naples into the nearby Gulf of Pozzuoli. Though Campi Flegrei is commonly referred to as supervolcano, this hadn't been established for certain. Supervolcanoes are volcanoes that can produce eruptions of the highest magnitude, an 8 on the volcano explosivity index, expelling more than 240 cubic miles, 1,000 cubic kilometers of material in the process. Yet Campi Flegrei's biggest every eruption ejected up to 70 cubic miles, 285 cubic kilometers of material, ranking as it as still discharges Category 7. One of the hazardous chemical elements that will be unleashed in the eruption's cloud is fluorine, which in sufficient quantities can kill plants and cause a disease called fluorosis in animals. The volcano has been stirring since the mid-20th century, with bursts of heightened activity in the 1950s, 1970s, and 1980s. Another period of unrest began in the last decade and is still ongoing, during which the ground below Pozzuoli, a town located on the volcano's roof, had risen 4 inches each year, adding up to a total exchange in elevation of 13 feet, 4 meters since the 1950s. Campi Flegrei is also experiencing persistent small earthquakes, with more than 600 detected in April, breaking its largest monthly total ever recorded in the region. The subterranean firmament is likely being driven by volcanic gas seeping into the crust 2 miles beneath Campi Flegrei's surface, which soaks it up like a sponge, the researchers said. This causes the crust to stretch, warp, and slip, sending earthquakes rumbling to the surface. If enough volcanic gas enters the crust, the heat and pressure it provides can push. Can push. Which part I'm reading at? I kind of get distracted by the notification, so yeah. Okay, can push the rocks beyond critical degassing pressure, rupturing them and opening up a crack for the magma beneath to burst outwards in an eruption. To see how likely an eruption may be, the researchers combined seismic readings with measurements of ground uplift to map estimates of the changing tensile strength of the region's crust, the maximum stress a material can take before breaking, and its proximity to rupture. The researchers' model suggests that the crust beneath Campi Flegrei is breaking and not bending under pressure. Deep beneath Earth, the churn of underground gas and magma has been slowly flexing and weakening Campi Flegrei's crust since the 1950s, reducing its tensile strength to just a third of what it was in 1984, according to the study. This means that even though the earthquakes in the region are not as powerful as they were in the 1980s, the weaker rock has the potential to rupture under smaller strains, giving seismologists fewer detectable earthquakes and people less notice to evacuate. Despite this, the scientists say this doesn't mean a gigantic eruption is now inevitable. For volcanoes to blow, gases must build up faster than they can escape, and magma also needs to be able to move rapidly to the crest where crack has formed, two conditions scientists cannot know for certain have been met until an eruption takes place. The same can also be said for the size of Campi Flegrei potential eruption, which is difficult to predict, but it's more likely to be small than large, according to the scientists. It's the same for all volcanoes that have been quiet for generations. Campi Flegrei may settle in a new routine of generally rising and subsiding, as seen as similar volcanoes around the world, or simply return to rest. Stefano Calino, a researcher at the Vesuvius Observatory, said in a statement, "We can yet say for sure what will happen. The important point is to be prepared for all outcomes."